Hello, welcome to my 4 secrets to managing fibromyalgia. My name is Lynn Galloway. I am a registered nurse as well as I had fibromyalgia. And I say had is because I rarely have any symptoms now. And it's been many years, probably over 15 years. So I'll tell you just a little secrets about what worked for me, because I'm sure you want to know that. I'm not saying it cures, because I don't know. I still do these things and I wouldn't want not to do them, because I certainly wouldn't want to go back to having the pain, the fatigue, the brain fog, not being able to think. So I keep doing these things. And so what do I do? So one of the things that I do is I'm going to step back a little bit, is because I tried a number of these things and people say, oh, do this. Well, yeah, that worked maybe a bit, and then it didn't work. Do this, 2 or 3, I do all the things. But what I learned was you need to do them all. And when you do them all, then it works well. So not just doing one thing, your diet, for example, and thinking, okay, that's going to do it. Or, and just a point, I do not use any medications, because I had a bad reaction to 2 or 3 medications that I did try. And I was diagnosed back 20 years ago. And I had actually I was actually hospitalized to get off one of them because of the bad reaction I had to it. So I obviously was looking for something that was natural. So that's what what I'm going to use are more natural things, and what I have been using for the last 15 years that have been working for me. So one of the things, so I do basically a 4-pillar type of thing. So I do my diet, exercise, and move. I call it the 3 M's: the movements, mindset, my environment, and my meals. That's little. Anyhow, so those are the 4 things categories that I work on. So one of them is, so as going back to my diet, I do choose to eat a lot of fruit and vegetables and not eliminate sugar. That's probably one of the biggest ones. An artificial sweetener was an instant headache for me. It still is. So I know that that's not good for me. So that is one of the things that I do. And I do, I try to make sure that I do some movement every day. And some days, I know for some people that isn't always works for you, but I do. I found, to start with, I couldn't do a lot of movement. At one point in my time prior to figuring this all out, I was actually in a wheelchair. So yes, I get it. And but some type of movement, even if it is walking at some point, even a bit. One of my mentors told me to try and do marching to start with. So marching in spot, and that it worked for me. And then I've got, so now I do about 30 minutes of exercise per day, or more than that, depending on it. I've learned that sometimes if you're having not a good day, that I don't do it all at once, that I break it up. Repetitive motion doesn't work well for me, and I'm sure it doesn't work well for you. So if I try to break it up a bit too. The other thing was my mindset, and definitely thinking positively, because when you're in pain, you think negatively. That's just the way it is. But if you can switch your brain from thinking about the pain to being distracted with something else, or being positive, and the probably best way to be helpful, to be positive, is to think being grateful for being grateful for. There always is something to be grateful for. And I do actually have a PDF, if you that you can purchase, that is 30 days that are marked out for you, and then tips around how to be grateful, as well as some tips how to get rid of those negative feelings. And it is in the description if you would like to look at that, see about that. The other thing is your environment. Now, I certainly know that my environment makes a difference on how I feel. And there was a lot of things in that area that I needed to look at, chemicals were a huge one. I'm a nurse, so I used all kinds of cleaning chemicals, which were, obviously really bad for me. And so cleaning up that, as well as certainly setting boundaries with people, and really actually setting boundaries with me, because I am a nurse. I like to help people, and then saying, okay, I need to help me, and setting time for me to have some self-care. And that was one of my biggies. And I there also, I have posted below a link to 9 tips for managing your stress, because stress is a huge one and is usually part of your environment. So those are what's worked for me. And actually, I know that, yes, it's easier. You think you're going to do this, this, and this, but if you need a way to have some help in that, I actually do have a subscription that is for every week. I send you some more tips and an article to help you, in an action plan to help you to keep on track, because it's so easy that when you get busy or you don't feel well, that you forget what to do. So those come once a week. And yes, if you would check that out, it'll be it's in, if you look for the workbook, it's in that section if you want that, or just contact me directly and I'm happy to share more about that with you. Have a great day, and hope these tips help.